Okay, so I'm here with Jeff, and Jeff has a great story about his business. Jeff, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Jeff. I own SCS Four Wheel Drive Centre, which is a custom four-wheel drive shop in the southeast suburbs of Melbourne. Been going for about 15 years nearly now, I suppose. And we met Rachel probably 5 or 6 years ago now. From an online ad we saw on Facebook and reached out to her and haven't looked back since.
Okay, and what issues were you experiencing that led you to reach out to me in the first place?
Being a mechanic by trade, obviously, and thought that, being a mechanic, we could automatically run our own workshop. So I'd done service advising as well as service managing in a dealership and thought it was all just going to be the same. But then got into my own business and found out there was so much more behind the scenes that I didn't know, and my business was going backward rapidly with not knowing how to deal with creditors and quoting and all that sort of stuff outside the dealership framework. So we were going rapidly downhill, had to sell our house to support our business, and we thought that we were going to lose everything. And then we found Rachael, who helped us become business people as well as mechanics. So.
And you did the 8-week online program.
Yep.
What did you find were some of the biggest benefits of doing that program?
Oh, for me, from week one, I think from week two, when we first started getting into the business stuff, we started doing small little implementations, and I think I'd already paid for the course by week 4 with you, which is some little implementations like knowing how to mark your parts up and your labour rates and what my break-even rates were, and what it actually cost me an hour to run my workshop compared to what I thought it cost me an hour. It's not only mechanics' wages you have to take into account. So actually learning the nuts and bolts of the business, it was a life changer for us. So,
do you think part of the old way that you ran the business before you did the program, there was lots of guessing involved?
It was all guesswork. We just were flying by the seat of our pants, had no budgets, no structures, had no operating procedures in place for certain things, had no idea what a profit and loss sheet looked like. We just saw money in the account and thought we had money, so we would spend it. So we had no idea, and then come to the end of the month, we thought we were having a good month, and then you pay all your bills and find out we were actually going backwards, not forwards. So.
Yep. And after the 8-week program, you chose to come into my 12-month program, The Engine Room.
Yep.
And you're my longest-serving client in there, and it's been amazing to work with you over the last few years. Now, some of the people watching might think, well, if it's so good, why do you still need to do it year on year?
Yep.
So why do you stay in the engine room?
Accountability. Accountability is huge. We get slack. We sort of tend to roll back into my old ways. I'll have months where we're absolutely flat out in the business and I back off on doing all the little behind 1%ers, and then my business goes down again. And then as soon as I say something in the group, people go, hang on a sec, why aren't you doing this and this like you've always done?
Yep.
So then you pick it back up again.
Yep.
Being able to share with other people as well. I'm a firm believer in giving back to what you've been given as well, and Rachael and everyone else in the room has given me so much as far as learning, so I'm a firm believer in sharing what I've learned and all my mistakes with everyone else in the engine room as well, so they don't have to go through all the stress and drama that I went through having to sell a house to save a business. Isn't a very nice thing to do. So if I can help one other person in the group to be able to do that and get on top of it early, then I think that's what we're all here for, is to help each other out, not just give, receive, but I think we should give as well. So
that's awesome. So the community aspect of it is just as important as the business side.
Absolutely. I don't know any other area that in any other industry that a group of like-minded people can come together and that we're not competition to each other. We actually support each other, help each other's businesses grow. We share business growth ideas and little tricks of the trade that have worked in our businesses that hopefully will work in everyone else's business, and they're free to try that. We don't have to pay to actually have those. So, having our sessions, whether it's our momentum sessions where we actually do focus groups on certain parts of our business, is really good. I know last year we did a lot on mental health for men in our group, which was absolutely awesome, which I think a lot of us actually needed because we were actually all a bit low last year. So, that was really good. And this year I know we're focusing on facts and figures, which is absolutely awesome because it's making us all aware and even our day-to-day things that we do, like Friday finances. I don't think I've ever seen such a big response this year as what we have, where everyone's focused on actually posting in the group what we're doing, what figures we're finding. Everyone's really attuned into their figures and their percentage margins and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think we're actually learning now to become business people. So, and I don't think you ever stop learning. So,
and congratulations to you, because it was last week or the week before you actually hit 110% productivity.
I did, yes, for the first time in a long, long time. So, and we lost a mechanic, as everyone in the engine room would know. So, but we still managed the same amount of hours with the two of us on the floor, and without that extra mechanic, obviously our profit really went up a fair bit as well over the last month. So, not that we could probably sustain that forever, and we are looking for another mechanic, but it was good to see that we could actually nearly hit the same numbers. I think with about $2,000 gross of the same numbers that we usually hit when there's three of us on the floor. So, it was a big eye opener to the fact that if you don't keep an eye on your figures and our proficiency levels in our mechanics, like my foreman, who I thought was my U-Butte mechanic, had the lowest proficiency. So, but whether that was him having to do other stuff as well.
So it makes you look at the role too.
It makes you look at the role. So you need to know where your role is in the business. So, I can't say that he was bad. He's not bad. He was absolutely a brilliant mechanic. So, and I would have him back in the business again. But I just that showed me that I need to look in the role that maybe I was getting to too much other stuff off the tools that I should have been delegating to other people. So,
And what advice do you have for any workshop owners that might suspect that they've got some issues, but they might be a bit afraid to dip their toe in the water to work with a business coach? What would you say to them?
Just do it. We when we saw it's funny, when I saw Rachel's thing on Facebook, we actually thought Rachel was a spokesperson for the company, and that I was going to be dealing with a man. And when Rachael ran the course, I was absolutely blown away at her knowledge and everything of an industry that, being not a mechanic, that she actually understood. And that's when I realised that it's not the mechanic side of the business that we need to worry about. It's the actual background side of the business. The mechanics take care of ourselves because we have mechanics to do that. It's the back side of our businesses where we all suffer from. And if your business suffers from backside, which most of us do, because most of us aren't business people, unless you've got a wife that is a business person, like your lucky partner had, then it was, you really need to have that person or that coach that can actually bring you in, because 99% of us are mechanics that have just decided that we want to work for ourselves. So
without a plan, without the cash stores, and
that's right. And none of us had cash flow when we all started our business. None of us had business plans. None of us had quarterly plans, and all the other stuff that actually keeps our businesses ticking along. Now we had no goals. We didn't have any onslaught to the future with what was happening in the industry in the future. We were just flying by our pants to see the day. So if you guys have got all those sort of dramas, which I know that 99.9% of the workshop in Australia would have, then a business coach or a business mentor is an absolute must. And even if you look at guys like Richard Branson still has a business mentor. So if guys like that need them, I don't see why we don't need them as well.
Excellent. Thanks so much for sharing, Jeff.
No worries, thank you.